turns out Sargon of Akkad has been using this account for a long time. It turns out that Sargon of Akkad never used to use it in the first person. He actually used to use it and talk about Sargon of Akkad as a promotional device, which is kind of funny because he stopped doing that roughly around the midpoint of its history, and then in that time he actually switched over without acknowledging it, because why would you? It's a burner account, so who cares? No one's ever going to see this, unless of course your burner account grew to the size where everyone identified that you were actually the one using it, aka Sargon of Akkad. Then it would be really embarrassing if you had all those old tweets. It would be embarrassing if there wasn't just like one or two. If there was dozens, if not hundreds, of embarrassing promotional tweets, that would be really embarrassing. All right, everybody. I should push the other button because we're gonna do some drama. There's so much drama. But hey, I'm going to weave it into the drama and the good times because we had the most amazing weekend. We did a wonderful thing. And I say we because everyone's like, wow, I can't believe the Serfs did that. I was like, no. The whole point of this is that a fuck ton of other people did this. This is a zero-sum game. It's a collective. It's a whole bunch of people helping each other to raise an inordinate amount of money. We wanted to raise $5,000. We did that in the first 30 minutes. We ended up raising, if we count the quartering's money, $45,000 for Maine Transnet, the largest state-level run trans charity in the United States, and the ones who are providing material support as well as training and just all kinds of different facets and activities for the most vulnerable members of the trans community. It was a wonderful, amazing weekend. It was so much happiness, and I was wondering afterwards, I was like, what's the internet's thought about what just happened? Because there was like, there was some big names in there. Chelsea Manning hung out for the majority of the stream, and we had YMS popped in for what I thought was going to be like 30 minutes. I said, like, if you only have 5 minutes, pop in. He's like, yeah, totally, and ended up staying for like 6 or 7 hours to the point where like he was ignoring his friends who were over, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Jeremy, I guess, donated his own money. I would assume so. Well, I guess we both did at the end of the day. This is my job technically, so I was exchanging my labor for people's monies. I was dancing for people's monies. And then what happened? Well, I'm sure some people already saw this. Sargon was pretty upset at Shu. Pretty upset at Shu and YMS and what he thought were all these celebrities, because he was like, I don't understand that. No, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I like YMS. I like you, Shu. I like you. Why are you hanging out with those communists? Shu, they're violent. They're violent communist, Shu. You see that, don't you?
Divorce, people like the Serfs. These are people who will kill people if given the opportunity. I mean, they just sit there talking about it. I'll get some clips and put them in so you can see exactly the sort of thing they're saying.
So I went from being what did Sargon call me, the pretentious little F word or whatever, on the internet, to being a violent radical who's just looking to kill people the first chance we get. That's how fast it happened. And so then I was like, whoa, wow, shots fired. Let's see the citations. And of course the citations is this clip that contains, like, I was like, of the 36 hours, this isn't even like one of the worst things that anyone said. There's far more extremist clips. Or is it the fact that Dave looks a lot like Castro in this? Maybe that's it. Just because Dave looks a little bit like Castro. Was that too much for his mind to process?
You can see exactly the sort of thing they're saying.
So there's this one thing that I have been thinking about a lot in terms of like abolition, and I guess like a just transition out of policing in general, but like not just in a way that like, oh, I want like former killer cops to just like, have a easy life afterwards, after we like defund and abolish all of that, but just more like, what do we do with people who have like the skills and the tactics to be a roving murder gang when they're not employed as police? Where does that factor into?
So if anyone is like confused, this is Dominique Simone. She's an incredible activist. She's trying to make an independent film right now. If you haven't already followed her, twitter.com/Canary Films. Again, she's awesome. She's based. She gave me some of her time for the charity stream, and she's talking about police brutality. That's the topic right now. She's talking about the indiscriminate killing of black people at the hands of the police. That's what she's talking about.
Discussions of abolition, but I feel like that's pretty spicy because people don't want to think about cops.
And like, that's not cancelable for me. That's just real talk.
Yeah, that's sensible. I mean, the one reason that I'm not for prison abolition is what will we do with the cops?
It's a fair question.
I'm a little nervous to ask it sometimes, especially on Twitter, because it's definitely not a place that's known for nuance. And I don't really like typing out like all the things that I'm thinking. But yeah, it's just something that I'm like, wait, have we thought about the other end of I'm nervous to ask it sometimes, especially on Twitter, because it's definitely not a place that's known for nuance. And I don't really like typing out like all the things that I'm thinking. But yeah, it's just something that I'm like, wait, have we thought about the other end of these things? Because with revolution, there's always counter revolution. So, and I'm nervous because we're not a solid group with ammunition and tactics and training, where if we needed to defend ourselves, right? Not yet. Yes, I want to make that clear. Not yet, but I just like I don't see it in my immediate vision. So I'm wondering like how does that even happen? I think that's the cancelable part. It's just like I might sound a little defeatist.
I guess from like the perspective like where I sit politically, I don't necessarily think that's a defeatist attitude. I think that's a pretty like legitimate question. I think a lot of people do tend to get caught up in the sort of like fantasy world of like what it is to like do the armed thing or to
I love this is all juxtaposed, by the way, with Fall Guys in the background.
do like an insurrection or to like be like anti this, anti that, and not actually like ask, well, like we have people within our society that are important, like what do we do with them or like what can we do? And so I don't think that's cancelable. I think that's a very reasonable thing. And I think people just need to have this conversation. I think a lot of people personally are just uncomfortable with revolution, like in general, because like there are people that are going to lose more. Like even like we see this at protests, right? So like you'll have like white people.
Whoa, what is this radical extremism I hear? My word. Is this a nuanced discussion about how modern society doesn't really have it in them? And in a lot of ways, we've kind of just become, I don't know, decadent and saturated, especially in the West, with our electricity and Taco Bell.
Protesting, but then like if there are like people like BIPOC people at the same protest, they're going to get like higher forms of reciprocity than like white protesters. So you have to like consider like is your activities going to get like those more vulnerable populations like in trouble? So yeah, it's just the nature of it. So, yeah, I don't think it's cancelable. I think it's
yeah, I feel like that's like like a big thing. Like I know friends who will like talk about like revolution as if it's like like this will be like an easy thing to like get like so many people on board with, as like as if like it's hard for like left-wing candidates to even get like elected, let alone like how many people do you think are actually willing to die in a civil war to fight for those, let alone, like if they aren't even voting for them.
Wow. How could he have said such things?
Like it is such a far away goal that like not that it's like wrong to want to like be thinking about that, but also to like act as if that's like a far gone like easy thing that we'll get to in any reasonable amount of time, I think is very unrealistic.
How many videos does Tim Pool have on like the race war that he's trying to start? You know, it's like, oh, Civil War version 2, Electric Boogaloo, here we go.
It's actually incredible that a bunch of people are getting on board with murderous extremists who
murderous extremists. Yeah, I mean, here's what happened. All right, Sargon, it's getting a little bit lonely on the far right side of YouTube right now. Okay, all the cool kids, the kids who he thought were apolitical, for example, people like Anthony Fantano and YMS and Shoe on Head, they were just making videos that he liked to laugh at. He doesn't understand. It doesn't make sense to him. Like, how come? Why are all these people suddenly becoming interested in politics? Are they all going left? Or were some of them maybe a little bit left, like in the case of Anthony Fantano, and he didn't really hyper focus on it? But is there such a thing as apolitical art? Like apolitical films? Apolitical music? That's kind of the point.
Actually have the intention of overthrowing capitalism, taking everyone's property, and making us all serfs of the state.
That literally verbatim what we talk about every day. Like you'll understand that. That's why the show is called The Serfs, because I want to again make him a serf. That's the whole point. I'm hoping to take over the state, and then I'm going to utilize my power as a lord, because at that point I'll become a lord. Basically, I want to take away everything Sargon has. Okay, I want to use my abilities. I want to overthrow. I want to start a revolution, and then I'm going to use it to take his house and his possessions. At which point I will be the lord, and I'll subjugate him, and I'll make him kiss the ring. That's basically what we all want, right? That's the revolution we've all been talking. Isn't that the whole point of the left? Am I wrong? Is that what we all signed up for? Come on. We all want to be lords. We're not against serfdom. We just want to be the lords for a change. That's it.
A socialist government does. It removes your property rights. So it removes your ability to have an income independent of the government.
Weird. So I guess he should turn to his classical examples, right? Maybe the USSR. And if he did, he would find out that the USSR didn't abolish private property at all. No, actually, one of the terms that Stalin had to do is reconcile with the farmers, all the, the old serfs who wanted land after the revolution. So they were given land. They were given property. In fact, it was the largest distribution of private property in the history of Russia. So there's that. So no, they didn't abolish private property. Not that we're even advocating for anything close to that. I'm not looking to take Sargon's beard. You can keep the beard. We don't need it. We don't want those trimmings. Not even the nails or the jars of urine you have in the background.
Socialist one-party dictatorship government.
After that, Sargon, of course, took to the internets and got a little bit upset at his old friend. Oh, by the way, Robinhood is Sargon of Akkad's friend's account. LMAO. Fucking block me, dude. Holy shit, stop acting like a child. Why are you so mad? I'm sick of the lies, slander, damage, and radicalization. These fuckwits think your country is evil when it isn't. They think police should be killed when they shouldn't. And you're pretending you know nothing about all this. It's cool. I just don't understand why in a 24-hour stream with 50 plus guests, you had to GBA with me with a random person I didn't even know existed, and now a bunch of people think it's me saying this shit. Much easier to just critique things I've said if you're worried about being stolen by the Red Menace. This was moments before you joined IRC. Do you not see that this is a problem? Do you want to be associated with people who are planning this? The hosts were egging her on. Holy fuck, I feel like I'm losing my mind here, dude. So again, in the clip that he played, one of the hosts was not there for half the clip, and the other host did not say a word. That the whole time didn't say a word. So again, like everything he does, citation needed. But you know what this is? I mean, chat's already catching up to me on this. It's about the eggs. The eggs, you see. Oh, hey, Chelsea. I don't know if you saw that Sargon of Akkad put us all on blast. You too, by the way. You're one of the radical communists now named by the Lord Sargonicus from on high. Hey, shoo, this guy bothering you? This is what's bothering me, bro. Let's be real. Communism is literally small dick energy. Whoa. Hey, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Communism is literally small dick energy. It makes sense. It's about the eggs, you see. It's the eggs. Only I get to fertilize them. That's one of the reasons that Paul Joseph Watson and Sargon of Akkad seem to be only incredibly and almost frighteningly, like violently obsessed with Shoe on Head when it comes to this whole thing. Like tons of other people. Oh, I mean, like he was a little bit upset about YMS, and also a little bit sad about Anthony Fantano. But that was more just like you could just see it. He just looked sad. He was just like, you know what? Why are all the kids? Why are all the cool kids hanging out with these communists? Why are the communists cool now? I thought the communists were the enemy. Weren't they the problem? I don't know if pinning my sweaty cock and balls to your profile is the epic code you're looking for. Tiny. Christ, how far you've fallen. Didn't people used to herald you as a champion of debate and intellectual heavyweight of our time? Now you just post pictures of genitals from people who've been the audacity to disagree with you. Whoa. Good thing I didn't click on this. Oh, wow. I almost toasted my VOD. I was about to click on this. If I had clicked on this, I would have toasted my VOD, wouldn't I? Well, allow me to find out off screen. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, that probably would have explained something. I would have gotten in trouble a little bit. It's Vosh, but it's Vosh. It's his penis and his balls are inside his boxers, so you don't actually see them, but there's an outline of them, which I suppose was not pleasing enough to Sargon. But good save. That probably would have been enough. All right. Here's the link for people asking because they want to see for themselves. I mean, it's definitely not X-rated. You've seen worse. You've seen worse. If you look down and like even right now, we can see our own outlines. It's nothing R-rated. All right, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Otaku also went after Kidsbox on Twitter for Sargon. Otaku went after me, but was just vague posting. Like, first off, I didn't know all these motherfuckers had secret accounts. Like so many secret accounts, but they've all got them. Every single one. It's like, you know, the party's over here on Parler, y'all. Come check out the new future of social media. Anything goes, except when you want to post pictures of your feces. They don't allow that on Parler anymore. But anyways, they're like, well, we still want to be part of the party. So we pop back on Twitter every now and then to do whatever this all is. Ask them directly, hey, what's the deal with you saying you're going to kill a bunch of people? Why do we have to do that to get universal health care? I'd love to know the answer too, LOL. So you live in Britain, Sargon, so you already have a single payer system. I live in Canada. I have it as well. We both have it. You probably have a mix of private and public options, but we have those. There was no murders. I don't know the particular history of the UK, but in Canada, it actually had a little bit to do with Norman Bethune and the NDP revolution. Of it's the whole thing. But anyways, so yeah, there's this. Shoo, it's not just the random hosts you don't know. It's the fucking serfs themselves. Like, I get it. Shit, I was on a show with some really shitty people. Oops. And if I were you, this would be the time to actually say, yes, I think the socialist revolution is morally beyond the pale. But this is a whole other ballgame when it's people who could actually stand. The conclusion has to be drawn from an unwillingness to denounce certain aspects. Again, you're going after, like, we're so low on the whole scale of people asking for anything. Like we're the silly, we're the ones that Caleb Mopin makes fun of when he's like, oh gosh golly, I'm not one of the bad socialists, I'm the good gosh golly. They're probably talking about us. We're the ones who are like, I want to get rid of the entire dynamic of employer employee, because before that we had lord and serf, and before that we had master slave, and I get it, like capitalism is better than the systems that came before it, but I would like us to take the next leap into something better where we don't have that dynamic, and that thing is called socialism. So if people have the means of their own production, if they are the lords and masters of their own domain, if they have democracy in the workplace, if they can vote, if they have control, if they actually have a say, a stake in what they're developing and building, that to me is more freedom. And I want more freedom. You love freedom, don't you, Sargon? You talk about it all the time. That's what I was asking for. I don't think I've ever once said that everyone should take up arms and take up arms against the bourgeoisie, against the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, and turn things into a dictatorship of the proletariat, and perhaps our numbers outnumber them vastly. There's not but a few dozen of us. I mean, there's only about 600 billionaires in the world, but there's billions of us, literal billions, and if we only united together and actually looked past all our petty bullshit on the internet, maybe then we could collectivize and move to. It is interesting that they're picking on Shoe on Head of all people, though. Fun facts, some fun things, everybody. Robin Hood. Sargon of Akkad. It turns out Sargon of Akkad has been using this account for a long time. It turns out that Sargon of Akkad never used to use it in the first person. He actually used to use it and talk about Sargon of Akkad as a promotional device, which is kind of funny, because he stopped doing that roughly around the midpoint of its history, and then in that time he actually switched over without acknowledging it, because why would you? It's a burner account, so who cares? No one's ever going to see this, unless of course your burner account grew to the size where everyone identified that you were actually the one using it, aka Sargon of Akkad. Then it would be really, really embarrassing if you had all those old tweets. It would be embarrassing if there wasn't just like one or two. If there was dozens, if not hundreds, of embarrassing promotional tweets, that would be really embarrassing. It would be extra embarrassing if last night Vadim, the creationist cat, didn't spend the entire evening when he found out this little treasure trove of screen catching every single one of them, and he's now making a video. He's now making a video about it. So that's going to be fun. This is going to be neat. I'll give you a preview. Okay. Here's one preview. This is Sargon. This was long ago. Do you remember when Henry Cavill made us all get a little hot and steamy on this side of the internet? We were like, oh, that's pretty fucking hot. Watching that beautiful man make a PC. Yeah. Cavill watches Sargon and Arch. I'm sure of it. That's great. It's like, you just know too. I could just see him rushing towards the keyboard, and then he's like, "Oh, You know, the thing about Henry is I know he likes me. I know he watches. I know he can't say it, obviously, because, you know, you get in trouble. I get that. I'm fine with that. That's okay. But 2,100 people are watching Tisky Sour, now discussing Starmer's superb ratings. Tune in live with tonight's Tisky Sour now. Sargon had 14,000 watching his last one. Toss a coin to your Witcher.
Lithium is the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Congress in the 42nd Congressional District.
He's a professor of history. He's a real-life working-class individual.
I have to admit, he seemed kind of an unconventional candidate. It's a given now that Liam is our candidate for this community.
Ken Calvert. I don't know who he is.
He's been in Congress for longer than I've been alive.
This is the time to get rid of Ken Calvert and bring someone who cares about District 42 and care about the constituents. Thank you.
To our God, I'm Wrath. We pray at your altar of awesomeness. To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Stephen, Ninetails Cosmic Fox, Hans Josephine, and Poppy Nelson, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our Knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Byte, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chutzkoff, God Bear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Ali Menthol, Jimmy Big Nuts, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Man, and Bryn, we salute you. And to our many merchants and farmers, you have our undying love